and economically a great success in their countries. Most of their economies are driven by tourism. Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Zimbabwe, largely they're driven by tourism. You have that and more here, because there is a certain kind of population, certain kind of culture which is difficult to culture. Here it's very easy to do that. The thing is, everybody's life will improve with tourism. It's not only people who are involved in the business. Everybody's lives will improve because it engages a whole lot of people. From a simple auto rickshaw driver to everybody's life will be touched by this. And looking at the richness of this land, that should be the way forward. Infrastructure does not mean it should be all by road. Everywhere you have to cut highways, not necessarily. Key things can be done. I think because I'm talking to the Nepali Tourism Ministry, and they have, 3 years ago, unofficially they made me kind of their tourism icon. So I've been talking to the Prime Minister and others. Helicopter tourism has taken off in a huge way in Nepal. This time I must tell you, we went on a Kailash Yatra. Just as a part of supporting this thing, we helicopter lifted 1,300 people in 3 different places across the mountains. This is like a military operation for us. 1,300 people, making sure every one of them has darshan of Kailash and come back in a span of about 27, 28 days. It is a military level operation, and the government was surprised that we could actually make this happen. So I'm saying in a terrain like this, there is no need to cut highways and tunnels and bridges all over the place. A few key things have to be done, but rest of it can be a huge helicopter thing. And in certain countries, they've been looking at it. I've spoken to some of the consultants. There is something called as blimp transportation. You know those blimps? I know everybody knows what's a blimp. Okay, there's another name for that. What is that? It can airlift 1,000 people if you want. 1,000 people will move at 30 to 40 kilometers per hour, and it's fantastic. It's not like an airplane, you have to look at it from a small window. You can either keep it open or you can keep it all glass. People will enjoy the ride. It may take a certain amount of time because that is part of the tourism, and then they can be landed in any airport or even in a school football ground, you can land it. So these are all things to explore. These are not new technologies. There is no risk, very low risk and very possible things. If you do this properly and the nature is there, if we just create certain things, if you give the private enterprise to come up with the needed infrastructure for people to stay and things like that, this 2026 goal could be easily achieved just with this one industry. Along with that, of course, you must always have education, training, other things. Education need to be transformed. We are still going on with the same education system that the British gave us. They're gone, but we are pursuing that education more rigidly than they are doing it in their own country. This is something that may be a shocker for most people. All the elite schools in Britain, like Eton and other schools which are top-class schools, which is the most prestigious schools, highbrow, aristocratic schools, are all teaching Sanskrit in their schools. Because research has shown that when children use Sanskrit language, the neurological development in the brain is so high. So they are teaching, but we are going by the same route education of 12 plus 3 and whatever nonsense. Very easily 16, 17-year-olds in 2 years' time, you can make them very competent in the tourism arena. 2 years program, a diploma in tourism, that they know what the state is about, how to handle transportation, how to handle hotels, stuff, they will, one thing is they'll be employed, within no time they'll all become entrepreneurs very easily. So, instead of me going into these things which you already may know, what I would like to say is, the most important thing for anything to succeed is to upgrade the human being. If we upgrade this human being, everything that we do will naturally get upgraded. Right now the problem in the world is just about everybody is complaining about stress. Whether they have a little job or a big job, they are stressed about it. See, stress is not a consequence of what you're doing or your life situations. Stress is just your inability to manage yourself. You don't know how to manage your thought and emotion, you're always stressed. If you have something to do, you will be stressed. If you have nothing to do, you'll be super stressed. Yes or no? Hello? So stress is not because of your job. Stress is because you've never… Do you agree with me that this human mechanism that you have is the most complex and sophisticated technology on the planet? Hello? Do you agree with me? Have you read the user's manual? Huh? Have you read the user's manual? No. So if you don't read the user's manual for a very complex technology, you inevitably make a mess out of it. That's all that's happening to human beings. There is no focus on how to manage this. We want to manage everything in the universe. And everything that we touch, everything that human beings touch is becoming a mess, absolute mess. Simply because we don't know how to manage this, we are trying to manage everything. This is very important, this is the USP of this culture. Bharat means just this. This is about inner longings and inner search and inner mastery over ourselves. This is what the nation is about. See, I want you to understand, all of you know probably the history of Assam and the neighboring regions. Many times, Bharat has been over 600 political entities, small kingdoms all over the place. In spite of that, still people call this as one nation. Not only us, people from outside the world, you go and ask, talk to anybody where we have been treating for over 8,000, 10,000 years, they always refer to this as one nation. Though politically it was all different, still we were one nation. What is it that made us one nation? This is the only thing. This is the only culture which saw that the only way to enhance life is to invest upon ourselves. Not in terms of accumulations, because accumulations of body, mind, wealth, money will only enhance our social interaction. It will not enhance the life that we are. But there is a way to enhance this life. If we enhance this life, we will function at a certain level, greater sense of science, technology, astronomy, mathematics, everything happened here because people invested upon themselves, not upon just learning something, but upon themselves, enhancing their perception, enhancing their vision, enhancing their ability to do things, and above all, enhancing the experience of life itself. Because essentially, human beings are only looking for this. I want you to look at this carefully. I know this is a government meeting, sir, but it's human beings, I thought.
Yes, all are human.
Human beings only, yes. Sometimes they may not behave like that when they're behind a certain table, but all human beings only. So the human thing is just this. You want pleasantness of experience. Hello? Are we in talking terms or is there a problem? I'm asking you a question. You want your life to be pleasant or unpleasant? You must choose because, see, from now on I'll ask questions and whether you say yes, no or silence, I'm going to bless you. It's up to you. You want your life pleasant or unpleasant? Pleasant. Good. If our body becomes pleasant, we call this health. Want it? Please, you must say yes or no. Okay? Be very careful because today we may be perfectly well, tomorrow morning we could be dead. Hello? We don't wish to be, but we could be. Yes or no? So when I say, do you want help? Don't sit like this, it's very dangerous. You understand? It's very, very important. Every cell in your body hears that you want health. You want health? Yes. Good. If this body becomes very pleasant, then we say it's pleasure.
Yes.
If your mind becomes pleasant, we call this peace.
Yes.
If it becomes very pleasant, we call it joy. if your emotions become pleasant, we call this love. If it becomes very pleasant, there are very few takers for love, I'm saying. Oh, no love in your life? You want? Hello? You must say yes. If this becomes very, very pleasant, we call it compassion. If your very life energies become pleasant, we call this blissfulness. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it ecstasy. If your surroundings become pleasant, we call this success. Only to create pleasantness of your surroundings, you need the cooperation of people and forces around you. To create pleasantness of body, mind, emotion and energy is 100% your business. Hello? Yes or no? Is it 100% your business? Yes. Now, if you sit here and you're feeling very wonderful, very joyful and wonderful, somebody comes and says something stupid to you, like I am doing right now, you will be nasty or pleasant? Pleasant, because you're feeling wonderful. When you are feeling little frustrated, angry, miserable, you do nasty things. Hello? Yes. This is true with every human being, isn't it? Hello? Yes. This is the whole problem. This is the biggest problem that we have picked up in the last few hundred years, that is, we are trying to create good people. No, we need joyful and sensible human beings on this planet. Hello? People who think they are good, they are doing the most horrible things to everybody and still they think they're doing a good thing. Yes or no? So, once you have a certain position of power and responsibility, the most important thing is you're pleasant and you're sensible about it. Only then your position of power and responsibility can become impactful, because these are the three things that every human being knowingly or unknowingly longing for. You want a pleasant life, but after some time you get bored of pleasantness. You want something profound to happen to you. In search of profoundness, somebody goes to the temple, somebody goes to the bar, somebody goes and meditates in the mountains, somebody goes in the back streets and buys drugs and takes it. Please understand, all of them are looking for profoundness, yes or no? Yes. Same thing. Whether it's going to work or not is the only question. Every human being in the beginning looking for pleasantness, if that is achieved in some way, something more needs to happen, isn't it? You can call it drink, you can call it God, you can call it meditation, you can call it drug, you can call it power, you can call it success, you can call it achievement, but essentially you're looking for a little more profoundness of life. So once there is some sense of pleasantness and profoundness, when you act in the world, you want it to be impactful. The purpose of action is to create an impact, isn't it? A positive impact you want to create. When you fail to do positive impact, then you may succumb to negative impact. Somehow you want to impact. This will happen to human beings. I'm not saying you will do that, but it is happening. Why somebody becomes a criminal, why somebody becomes something else is, they also want to create an impact. They are not patient enough to craft positive impact. Quick impact means shoot somebody in the head, boom, tomorrow you're in the headlines. Hello? Yes. Quick impact. Consequences are there, but always you think you will somehow escape the consequence. That is not the point. The important thing is pleasantness. If there was pleasantness, your impactfulness would always be constructive. If there is a certain level of bitterness and unpleasantness, then the impact that you create can be negative. Every human being does something negative either because they're angry or frustrated or fearful or something unpleasant happening within themselves, and when something unpleasant happens within you, you want to share it with the world. Hello? Yes or no? When something positive happens also, you want to share with the world, but for most people, positive things are moments of joy, moments of wonderfulness is happening here and there in a day. In 24 hours, here and there and there. Rest of the time, we're going like this. I'm just reminding you, this is not my wish, but whatever age you are, even if you're just 18, some of you, I'm just pampering you, don't believe that, okay, I know. If she raised her hand, yes, I got you. You have a very brief life to live. It's very brief. Especially if you're joyful, it's very, very brief. Have you noticed on a particular day that you were very happy? 24 hours, poof, went off like a moment. Yes or no? Another day you're a little miserable, 24 hours feels like 1,000 years. Hello? Yes. Because time is a very relative experience. Only miserable people can have a long life. If you're a joyful person, poof, it gets over. Yesterday I was in Kashi and they were reminding me that it's 40 years since I started this work. Oh, it's 40 years? It looks like I started day before yesterday. It's already 40 years gone and I'll be dead one day, all right? So this Swamiji who's in charge of the Manikarnik Ghat, he's thinking, Sadhguru, you must come to Manikar. Arey, why are you booking me tonight? Allow me some more time. No, not like that. You please come, you must come to the Manikarnik Ghat. All right, I said for all the people who are with me, 1,000 people, will you give them free booking? No time, no expiry date for the booking. Whenever they want to come, they can come. Will you give me free booking? Yes, sir, yes, Sadhguru, yes, Sadhguru. I said, okay, then we will come. Then we went to the Manikarnik Ghat. Why I'm saying this is, it's such a brief life. If you use your human potential, it's a very brief life. If you just go with your psychological stuff, it feels like an extremely long life. So, when there is such a brief life, there is no time to go on walking in misery. Hello? It's like this. Why this misery? There are so many reasons, because all of you are ministers, bureaucrats and Honorable Chief Minister. See, the problem is this. In this cosmos, nobody knows where it begins, where it ends. Hello? Yes. Neither the religion knows nor the science knows. Yes or no? Yes. Both don't know. Where does it begin, where does it end? It's that big. Or big is not the word, it's simply limitless. In this limitless cosmos, seemingly limitless cosmos, the solar system is a tiny speck. The entire solar system. In this speck of a solar system, planet Earth is a microspeck. In this microspeck, a sun is a super microspeck. In that, here we are. It is a super microspeck. In that you are a big man. This is a terrible problem. This is a massive problem, not a simple problem. Every man is acting like a rhinoceros. It's all right, rhinoceros behaves like that, he thinks he's very big. All right? It's okay for him, he's got more horn than head, all right? With him it's all right, not okay for a human being, hello? It's all right for a rhinoceros because all he's got is his horn, he has to do something about it. But we got a head, and we got a head which can do things that no other creature can do, yes or no? Yes. And with this head, if we behave like a rhinoceros, one thing is our head may crack very easily. Another thing is we will cause misery to ourselves and everybody else around us, unfortunately. It's a very brief life. So all of you must promise me one thing. Tomorrow morning, if you wake up, hello? This is not my wish. This is not my wish because every day, nearly 200,000 people don't wake up tomorrow morning. Natural death. So if you do wake up, one thing is, pinch yourself and see if you're still alive. One big smile. Can you do this for me? Hello? Only if you're alive, otherwise I'll pardon you. If you're not alive, you're excused. But if you're alive, one big smile. No, but my office, this is happening, my ministry, that's happening, nonsense happening, all that happening, yes. I'm not saying everything is going perfect for anybody. If you've taken up big responsibilities, most of the damn things are not going right, all right? Only if you're just doing one petty shop, if you're running a beedi shop, 90% is going your way. If you're running a damn state, 90% is against you all the time. Only 10% is happening your way. This is the nature of the world. Hello? So if you're not ready to function in this world, you want some ideal world, people come to me, we are running a large volunteer organization. Over 5,600 full-time volunteers, over 17 million part-time volunteers. See, I'm not lucky like your chief minister. He's put probably qualified people in the jobs. All the bureaucrats, every one of them qualified for what they're doing. I don't have such a privilege. Whoever comes, I have to put them into it because all are volunteers, I don't pay them, only something. So volunteers means they're full of enthusiasm, but they don't know what the hell they're doing. You have to manage it all the time, 24 hours, manage it. But in spite of that, our events run in such a way, with absolute precision, in these 40 years, on a daily basis, on an average about 250 to 270 events are going on in the world. Not a single event has been abandoned in the last 40 years. So don't clap because this takes crazy amount of management. And volunteers always, they're volunteers, you can't fire them for inefficiency because they're volunteers. How can you fire them? If you had hired them, you could have fired them. Now this is a whole thing, if anybody has to go to the mental hospital, first it's me. But I will not go because I will not go. I will not die of stress. I may die of exhaustion, possible, very much possible. I could die of exhaustion, but I will not die of stress. That's not going to happen because there is a certain way to be within the human being which is beyond the situations in which we exist. If we don't get this, we get crippled by our own minds. Right now, we call this tension, stress, anxiety, this, that, so many names. There are 72 varieties of psychological ailments. But there is only one problem. Your intelligence has turned against you. That's all that's happened to you, isn't it? Hello? If your intelligence was working for you, would you create joy for yourself or misery for yourself? Obviously, isn't it? So if you are causing misery to yourself, no, somebody is causing misery. Nobody can cause misery to you. They can cause situations. They can make situations in a way that you don't like. But who causes misery? Hello? Don't say that, just say me, huh? Because that is sounding very spiritual and somewhere, because this is an Indian problem, because there was a time when this country was spiritually alive, okay? Almost 100% of the population in some way engaged in some spiritual practice. But today we don't have that, we only have the jargon left. For everything, everybody will say karma, prarabdha, mukti, moksha, atma, paramatman, every word they know all the jargon but no spiritual process. So don't use the spiritual words, self, super self and all that stuff. Me is good enough. I'm the one who's causing misery. If you know you're the one causing misery, will you continue that way? You always think, he is causing misery, I'm miserable because of him. No, you are not miserable because of anybody. Other people can create outside situations in a way that you don't like, but inner situation is 100% yours. So volunteer organization, every day somebody coming up and telling me, Sadhguru, I can't work with this man, he's so horrible, he's like this, he's like that. I tell them, see, in this world only such horrible people are there. If you think what you're doing is very significant, you have to work with all these horrible people. But if you want to work with ideal people, go to heaven and today. Hello? Yes or no? Hello? Only these kind of people are there in the world. If you see what you're doing is very significant, with all of them you have to work. But if you want to work with ideal people, you must go to heaven. You must go and marry Rambe or Urvashi and live there. Okay, whoever that is. I want you to understand, even the so-called divine entities, when they were here, people around them had problems. Hello? With them also. When Krishna was here, his wives had serious issues with him. Hello? Because no matter how you are, is there anybody who's absolutely perfect here? No matter how you are, you're not perfect is a good thing, that means there is room for improvement. This is the nature of this culture. This is not a culture of absolutism. Oh, you have come from God, so you are perfect. There is no such thing. Even if the so-called divine entity comes down, all that Indians gave was debate, ask questions. Nobody could give us a commandment. Hello? Questions and questions and questions. Shiva opens his mouth, Adiyogi opens his mouth to speak. His wife freaks him with 1,000 questions. Hello? Krishna, after all those things, he's trying to talk to one guy, that too on a battlefield. How many damn questions he's asking? Yes or no? He can't say, this is it. I'm telling you, this is absolute, no such thing in this country. Because this is a culture of evolution. We don't see that there is some God up there and everything will happen that way. We see that if you are willing, you can evolve yourself into a divine possibility. For us, divine is not a descended, entity. Divine is an evolution of a human being. An individual human being can grow into divine nature simply because he's done the right things within himself or herself. Otherwise, no, it doesn't descend from the top. Those that descend from the top have always been a great mess. Hello? Huge problems, isn't it? So, leaving that aside, there are many, many, many things that one human being can do within themselves. All of you, whether you have time, the Chief Minister is giving you only 3 days to do Chintan Shivar. You can't sit down and withdraw for 3 years and look at what's happening. That's not going to be allowed, all right? Only 3 days. So in 3 days, what we can do with ourselves? Well, in 3 days we can do fantastic things with ourselves. It is not just about, it's not just about looking how to improve the administration. The most important thing is how to improve myself. If I am a better human being, I am a more capable human being, whatever I do naturally happens that way. I don't have to struggle. This is the whole problem with the world. They are always trying to upgrade their activity without upgrading themselves. Now, they are always stressed to the limit, because if you upgrade the activity without upgrading yourself, you will be stressed, isn't it? It's very important that human beings take time to upgrade themselves. If at some point, not in these 3 days, at some point, if you want, we can offer a few things, or even in these 3 days, we could do something. We have trained people who could offer you a simple process with both physically, mentally, above all energetically. You could be at a higher pace. Like when I started this 30,000 kilometer ride, I must tell you this. When I was very young, I rode motorcycles across India. But last 30 years, I have not sat on a motorcycle. I have not even thought about a motorcycle. I have been so busy, such a thing never came my way. So suddenly we decided we'll do it on a motorcycle, because last 30 years I've been talking about soil. I have spoken to agricultural ministries, I have spoken to bureaucrats, I have spoken to various leaders in the world, many heads of state, common people. Whenever I speak, people say, Sadhguru, this is fantastic, this is very important, what you're bringing to focus is very, very important. and that day they will use that as a pillow to sleep upon it. Everybody sleeps upon it. So I thought before it's too late, I must do something to wake everybody up, because millions of people are there who claim they are in love with me, but all of them sleeping. So if I walk 30,000 kilometers, it's a suicide, all right? At this stage in my life, if I walk, it's definitely a suicide. If I cycle, that also would be a suicide. So next is the motorcycle. You could kill yourself. There are many, many dangerous moments in… See, you're not just riding, you're doing an average of 7 events per day. Riding 30,000 kilometers and doing over 691 events is madness at this stage of life. So I said I have to play little yo-yo with my life, that people think I'm going to die, and I may. And suddenly these millions of people woke up and boom, across the world, it's still going on, it won't stop. It won't stop till the policies are made. Because millions of people woke up, it touched over 3.91 billion people. It's never happened before like this. But if I did not risk my life, they'll say, okay, soil Sadhguru, soil. This is a problem. We think sleep is a virtue. Sleep is not a crime, I'm not against it. Is sleep a crime? No. But if you sleep through your life is a disaster. Hello? If you sleep through your life is a disaster, isn't it? Because life is about being alive. Life is about being exuberant. Life is about being pleasant to yourself and to everybody around you. Life is about being impactful with what we do. And above all, life is about ensuring every other life is well too. Right now, say I'm asking you, how many of you have to do what we are doing, as we are doing, completely unconsciously, there is no way our children can live well. It doesn't matter how much wealth you have, how much education you have, what you have, there is no way next generation can live well simply because we are pulling down the structures of life. When I say structures of life, it's not just about agriculture. Right now, according to UNFAO, the number of species going extinct per year is 27,000. 27,000 species of microorganisms are going extinct per year. This slide, if it continues, approximately in another 25 to 40 years, it will go into tumble. Once it goes into tumble, there is nothing you can do or I can do. Why is this so? It's simply because the microbial life is the foundational life on this planet. This is how life started. And this foundational life is everywhere, it's a global phenomena, including your bodies. Over 60% of your body is microbial life, only 40% is your parental genetics. Remaining 60% is microbial life. If it goes down in the soil, it also goes down here. It goes down in every other creature on the planet. It doesn't work in silos. It is happening as a global phenomena. So this slide of microbial life going extinct is actually literally soil extinction. So soil is not just about agriculture, soil is just not about productivity that we have or not. The thing is, it is the basic life, it is the life-making material on this planet. It is the largest living system, not only on this planet, but in the known universe, it is the largest living system. Trillions of species, but it is going down simply because large parts of world's land is farmed and we are not putting back any organic content. They can only consume organic content, their food is organic content, but there is no organic content. We think we can just grow it by throwing salts and chemicals and stuff. So because of this, it's going down. It needs organic content. If that doesn't go in, as that life starts dying, this is the foundation. A whole lot of people are arguing economy versus ecology. There is no such thing. Ecology is the foundation for our economy. Ecology is the foundation for the very life that we are. Now we built, it's like this. Let's say you're living in a village and you built one house for yourself, one floor you built and you're very happy with the new house. Then you decided you have more money, you want to build a second floor. So there is no material, so we will and build the second floor. That's where we are going right now. This is not a phenomena in one place, this is a global phenomena. The minimum most organic content that is needed to keep soil as soil, a living soil, is 3%, minimum most. Not a single nation, not a single nation has averaged 3%. The highest that we have in the world is Northern Europe, which is 1.48%. United States is 1.25%, Southern Europe is 1.1%, Africa is 0.3%, India is 0.68% average. Below 1% is considered desertification. I don't know if you grasp that. Very quickly that image came and went where the world's soil picture, India is like looking like a desert except your states, these seven sisters. These seven sisters are super important. These seven sisters are super important because keeping the microbial life alive here and putting it back in the rest of the country is most important. This has definitely gone into the mind of our leadership in the country, there's no question about it. But the problem is this, that the electorate itself, because democracy is decided by the people, and you, as Chief Minister was already pointing out, you have 5 years. Would you want to invest in something that bears result within 5 years? He's made it very clear by 2026 what is it that we're going to do, because this is natural process in a democracy. This has to be attended to like that. If you invest in something which will bear fruit after 15 years, well, people are not with you, unfortunately. So this is why we started a people's movement, so that people will assure the governments that if you invest in long-term well-being of our nation, long-term well-being of our children, we are with you. This is very needed. So as a campaign, people have to stand up, because ultimately it's the people who have become leaders and it's the people who will decide who will become the leader. Having said that, the most important thing for a government and all of you as a team who work here, see, human problem is cohesiveness. Because we have been given a certain cerebral capability, we think it's our right for each one of us to think at a tangent from each other. We should think all the 360 degrees. But when it comes to action, it must be decided what is the course of action. If in action also we are 360 degrees, obviously we have no intent of going anywhere, yes? In thinking, in Chintan Shivar, first 2 days you can think 360 degrees. The last day when you come to action, it must be just one. There's no question of two. Two is a disaster. Just one. This is the way we're going, because this is the nature of action, this is the nature of thought. So if we do not make a distinction between what is our thought and what is our action, then we will be thinking endlessly, not doing anything. This is the whole problem with humanity. Most of the time they're thinking about a whole lot of things that they can't do nothing about. But what they can do something about, there's no attention about it. So this has to come into an administration, because India, our people of India, this fantastic land in terms of its culture, its richness, a very high level of intellect that's available in this country. Unfortunately, last 300, 400 years, we've had a beating. People have had a horrible life. We call our villages as villages. I saw here it's fantastic, but generally most villages in India are just slums. Hello? Yes or no? Very low level of life. See, for me, I'm not thinking you must be living in this kind of a palace to have a good life, or you must be driving this kind of car or this kind of clothes. At least everybody should be well nourished. After nourishment has happened, how I live, how I dress, what I do, where I live is my business. Hello? But nourishment must happen to everybody, and opportunities must be open to everybody, whether it's a man or a woman or this or that or whatever they are. For everybody, nourishment, basic nourishment to grow our bodies and our brains to full size is most important, and the necessary opportunity is open. Somebody may want to grow with education, somebody may want to grow without education, somebody may want to job, somebody may want to do enterprise, somebody may want to just close their eyes and meditate. It doesn't matter what they want to do. Whatever individual human beings want to pursue, it should be possible. Only in providing that we are a successful nation. Only in providing that we become a successful state. And in a state like this where I think it's about 3.5 crores, right?
3.5.
Yes. 3.5 crore population, if you take up the challenge that your Chief Minister is throwing at you, all of you, I don't think in 4 years you can't do it. You shouldn't aim… I'm sorry, I'm negating you, sir. You shouldn't be thinking of being ahead of Punjab or this or that. The important thing is, it should become a place that people want to live. In every way, people are happy, they want to live here. People want to live here, that must happen. People should not be running away. See, right now we may call whatever, I have great pride in being the nation that we are. But the fact is this, if today all the Western countries open up their visas for our youth, 70% of them will go away. Hello? If there is no transportation, they'll swim the oceans and go away. That desperate they are. That's not good, that sounds like a prison to me. Hello? If the gates are open, everybody will run away. What does this mean? That's a prison. No, we must make this state, you have the natural elements in place. If you do a few right things in terms of education, tourism, whatever other small industries, software industry, other things which don't take a toll on nature, if you create that kind of stuff, within 4 years, you can create a state where everybody wants to live here. Right now, the northeastern population is moving to Bangalore, Hyderabad, here, there. I would like to see by 2025, people from Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh want to come and live here. You must do that. That is important. Whether I am number one, number two, it doesn't matter, because states are made in different ways, different kinds of demographics, different kinds of… there are many, many aspects, all right, I can't go into all those things. Instead of aiming like that, you make this an aspirational state. Everybody wants to come and live in Northeast because nature is fantastic, administration is fantastic, enormous opportunities are there. This is all that needs to happen, and I'm sure with a very dynamic and able leadership like our Chief Minister, and above all, the national leadership is very focused on this region right now. There is a certain amount of guilt and heartache that this region has been neglected for over 70 years. Now they want to do their best for you. This is the time. You must stand up and get the best from the resources of this nation, and also show that efficiency that… see, this is what I've always been telling people. See, you give me 10 rupees, I will do 100 rupees work for you. I will prove it to you. You give me 10 rupees, I'll do 100 rupees work for you, because we work like that. This is what you must do. If somebody gives you 10 rupees, you show them at least 20, 25 rupees of work, then everybody wants to be there, isn't it? It can be done in this place. All your talent is moving towards some other place. No, talent from everywhere should want to come here. So, if everything cannot be developed at once, if you just focus on one region and create the necessary infrastructure and draw people, Don't try to do everything by government, because the very process of government is slow. You can't help it, it's a big machine, all right? That big machine, before it revs up, it'll take too much time. I think the best way is to go private as much as possible with the necessary policy controls, and particularly, I don't know if this is too revolutionary for you. Can I say something, all of you, bureaucrats? See, I don't want to name companies, but I have top companies in my mind. See, for example, as administrative efficiency. This is something I've spoken to the center also, but unfortunately, they're trying to bring some things have happened, rest of it is in the hands of the state, so that part doesn't move, so it doesn't happen. For example, see, what is the government doing in terms of administration? Let's say land records are there, okay? Land records needs to be done, birth and death is there for people, health is there, education is there, all right. Administration, law and order, making policies is government's business. Why are you maintaining land records? I have seen in Karnataka, because I used to be a farmer in Karnataka, and you go into the taluk office and you ask for your document. He takes you inside. The heaps from floor to ceiling, file full of dust, and that guy goes and pulls it out. It takes 3 days for him to find it and pull it out, all this nonsense. I know you might have gone little more digital now, but why is the government doing such things? Give it to a good company, they will manage it at a pittance for you, really. Very easily, software companies can manage your land records, your birth and death records, this, everything. You manage, you focus on policy making, administrative process, law and order, and the key things which keeps the government in place. All the other activity must be done by private, only then there will be massive employment opportunity. Everybody is going somewhere else looking for employment. I know this may sound too revolutionary, but it's something, sir, that you must look at. If you want me to introduce you to certain people who are competent to design such things for you, we can talk to them. I don't know, I have not spoken to them, but I know they are competent to do such things. In small scale, certain aspects of this has been done in Karnataka, but very small scale, not sweeping. If you do these things, your burden of daily managing all these things are over. You can focus on the development of the state, you can take a focus on upgrading life in the state rather than going on keeping silly records which anybody could keep. Today a computer could keep that, you know. Let somebody who is good at those things do that. I hope I have not overstepped my…
No. Tomorrow, in fact, we are inviting people from Karnataka to talk about all this aspect.
Okay, that's nice. If you have any questions, any kind of question, please, I'll take a few questions. Yes, ma'am.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. Namaskaram, Sadhguru. Namaskaram, Sadhguru.
Please raise the volume yourself.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. Sir, it's more than a blessing to have the opportunity to see you, sir. My eyes just keep welling the moment I see you, the moment I hear you. Sadhguru, I have one question. The idea of spirituality where we become all-inclusive and the practice of killing in Devi temples seems to be counterintuitive to me, Sadhguru. I have heard you talking about a certain technology where we can appease the Devi without doing the killings. So Sadhguru, it's my request that that technology must be taught to all the Pandits in our temple so that we can appease the Devi without doing the killings. And Sadhguru, it's my request, we need you, we love you, we would like you to come more often to Northeast India.
Well-
Your youth and truths, IIT Guwahati can be taken up, sir.
So about,
Thank you so much.
about the sacrifices that are done in the temple, I know there are people who are for it and against it, but I want you to understand, people who are against it, the nations and cultures who are against it, are the people who slaughter maximum number of animals on the planet. Hello? On a daily basis, about 200 billion animals are slaughtered per day. We are not eating that many, but we are slaughtering that many. So the only thing you're asking is, why should it be done in the temple, why can't we do it in the slaughterhouse? I really don't understand that question. Anyway, people are eating it. If they're going to stop eating and stop all the slaughter, that is different. Anyway, you're slaughtering it somewhere. Somebody wants to offer it to their gods and then eat it, I don't see what is the problem. Because anyway, in the slaughterhouse, hundreds of animals are being slaughtered in every slaughterhouse, isn't it? So I don't think you should mess with that, because consecrations are of different kinds. There are certain consecrations which are done without that sacrifice, the deity will diminish. They won't let that happen because they put their lives into it. So I don't think you should go that. If your concern is for animals being slaughtered, is it a concern? Animals being slaughtered, or it's slaughtered in the wrong place? Yes, slaughter is the concern. If slaughter is the concern, you must see how to reduce the number of animals which are being slaughtered in the slaughterhouse, not in Kamakhya temple, all right? They're only once a year they're doing it, right? Hello?
We do daily, but 5 or 6.
Okay.
But in Guwahati, it will
But
be like
those animals are eaten by human beings? Yes, then what's the problem? Anyway, they're going to eat. They offer the life energy to their deity and eat the flesh. You want it to be slaughtered without any ceremony in the slaughterhouse. Please don't do that, because these kind of values are coming from the West when they are the ones who are killing the maximum number of animals and human beings, if you ask me. So, I mean, these are sensitivities which are picked up from newspapers and magazines. Please look at it with your heart. Tell me, is it better that I'm not saying I'm for slaughter? If it could be done without it, it's fine, because it doesn't affect my food, all right? But a tiger will kill. Similarly, there are human beings who are still in that mode of diet. It's not for me to decide, you should not eat this, you should not eat that. We will tell you one day when you have a coronary heart problem, your doctor will tell you, don't eat meat. Then of course, you will do, whether the meat comes from the temple or the slaughterhouse, you cannot eat, that is fine with me. But anyway, when you're eating, people want to make use of the life energies and then eat the flesh. I don't see what's the issue about that. You don't like to go to the temple, don't go somewhere else where only coconuts are broken.
Sadhguru, we generally…
Hey, it's okay, bye. Relax, please.
We generally think that we are prisoners of our position.
I'm sorry?
We are prisoners of our position. Generally, this is the thought that and philosophy which pervades all of us, that we are what our position so demands. And you have seen bureaucracy across the world and across India. And like the bureaucracy is supposed to be like potatoes in a dish which changes with time. What do you think we should be in a changing situation? What do you think we should be? How do we escape the prison that we ourselves are in?
You're a prisoner of your position was not said by me. Well, if you're feeling that way, it's fine. You're not entirely wrong, partially. Partially it's true, but not entirely true, isn't it? So, whatever positions we hold determine a few things that we do. how we do what we do, yes. But how I am, nobody can determine, isn't it? You're a bureaucrat. What ministry? I'm sorry?
I look after skill and labor.
I'm sorry?
I look after skill and labor.
Skill. So if you do skill and labor joyfully, is your minister going to fire you? I'm asking. As long as you're doing your job, whether you're joyful or miserable, is it going to keep your job or get you promotion or get you demoted or anything like that? No, I'm just saying, your position to some extent decides what you do. Because you're doing skill and labor, you can't suddenly go and do culture and music and dance, all right? You have to do skill and labor. They expect you to do that. In that sense, you are a prisoner. But I wouldn't say that, because you've chosen to be there in some way. But the important thing is, neither your minister, nor your chief minister, not your prime minister, not even God can decide whether you do your job joyfully or miserably. Yes or no? That you must determine, that you do it the way you want to do. If you do it with involvement and joy, work will be a fantastic experience. Otherwise, you will definitely feel like a prisoner. See, this like this. Can I tell you a story? This happened. On a certain day, a man came to your workplace, skill and labor department. Up for Swiss tourism. So I was there and they were shooting something about, in the Lausanne region. And this tourism secretary asking me, Sadhguru, where do you go for vacation? I said, what is that? Because what is that vacation? If you are creating what you care for, will you want a break, I'm asking? Hello? If you're genuinely creating what you really care for, do you want a break from that? No. This is what you must do till 2026, he's saying. He's not making you a prisoner, he's not giving you a life term, only 4-year term. Hello? These 4 years, you must be creating what you really care for, a wonderful Assam. Then you will not feel like a prisoner. Yes, sir, please.
Sadhguru, I had, this question was not specifically
No,
about…
it's okay, yeah.
About this particular thing. I was saying, what were your expectations of how bureaucracy should evolve was my larger question. Of course, like, what I fully gather what you're saying as to how we can be better.
No, I made it little larger. I'm not talking about… because I don't see a politician, a bureaucrat, this one and that one. I see only human beings. A human being can do this. Either he can just cut stone or just earn a living or create something wonderful. Don't be a bureaucrat. You're first a human being, isn't it? Because that bureaucrat has become a bad word. Stop using that. Call this a team. Team Assam, hello? Let Team Assam function to create a wonderful Assam. Please.
Sadhguru Pranam. Is there any fixed…
Little closer, sir, if you can hold the mic.
Okay. Pranam. Is there any fixed timing to practice Shakti meditation? Can I do it any time during the day, or it is a particular timing, Brahma Muhurta or something like that? Due to my, hectic lifestyle or our time, normal people, we are having a lot of activity. Is only the Brahma time, Brahma Muhurta, or any time I can do during the day? That's it.
Now, sir, you're making sure nobody here, the bureaucrats, will practice Chit Shakti, because who will wake up at 3:40, sir?
During the day it is possible?
No. Every moment of 24 hours is very auspicious. Do it whenever, but please do it. That's the important thing. So those moments when you think is Rahu Kalam, bad times, those moments, stop breathing. It's very good for your life. If you think some moment is inauspicious, you shouldn't be breathing. Hello? So if it's good enough for breathing, it's good enough for everything. Please.
Sadhguru, since I have been listening to you, there are certain things about the way you sort of speak, it becomes easy to understand. So I just wanted to ask you one question about the expectations, the conflict between the expectations that I have vis-a-vis the expectations the other people have, and what sort of inner engineering would be required, just to illustrate it. For example, growing up, once you sort of, as a child, your parents tell you that, you do this much and then you can rest. Then the next things comes, they tell you that you just do this much and probably then you can do…
He's coming to you, sir. He's coming to you. The Chief Minister is saying, do, no, don't rest.
So this has been an expectation since childhood vis-a-vis what one wants, because there are certain things as you grow into your consciousness is what you want, and there is…
Now they are asking question as a human being, not as a politician.
And there is oftentimes a conflict that results, like you said, there is a stress because you want more. Once you have achieved a certain level, you want more. So what sort of inner engineering do you sort of say that we should have, or sort of thought framework we should have as we grow into this age of more and more stress to really deal with these issues?
Let's address this properly. See, if you're doing whatever you really love to do you feel stressed? If somebody gives you more opportunity to do that, will you feel stressed? No. So essentially from your childhood, where you were forced to go to school, you are doing things that you don't like to do. You have no natural inclination to do. School going, except for a small percentage of children, for most children it's a painful experience because the way the school is structured. So when I built the school, because I barely went to the school, only when I was compelled I went, otherwise I was all over the place. So when I decided to make the school, and we called it Isha Home School and trying to set this up, so I was talking to a group of people, and the first prescription I set was, we will not take any trained teachers because they are such a disaster. We will look for educated people, doctors, engineers, accountants, but they don't know what's teaching. They must learn with the students and create an exciting atmosphere. Being adults, they are little ahead of children, and very easily they can pick up the same things and explain. Everybody learns together in this. So when I spoke for a few hours, Everybody said, Sadhguru, this is such a big responsibility. How do we know? How do we know we have fulfilled your vision? When will we know? I said, see, it's a residential school. When children are leaving, if they are in tears, you're doing well. And above all, if children want to come back to school sooner than when the opening is, then you've done really well. Today, at least 12 to 15% of the students end up in the school anywhere between 10 to 15 days ahead of the vacation closing, because they want to be back in the school. While leaving, a whole lot of them are in tears. That's good, because you are doing something that you love to do. Now you're creating a school structure where nobody wants to be there. It's like a prison, you have to learn this, you have to learn that. See, no human being doesn't want to learn, please know this, because knowing something new is always exciting for human intelligence, isn't it? It is just that the way it is said and for the purpose you are made to learn. When I'm 7 years old, somebody is telling me, see, you must study well, otherwise you won't get admission in the university. I don't care a damn. What is that university? I don't even know what it is, all right? This is what they're telling for a 7-year-old child. You will not get admission in that university if you don't study now. Arey, I just want to live in this universe, not in the bloody university. Hello? So we have wrong mechanical approach towards everything, including your work today. I'm saying, if necessary, I'm sure he's dynamic enough, he's not listening to me. He's dynamic enough to change the work situation. If you want to change this way your office looks and how it is, how you greet each other, how you are there together with each other, you must change this. See, because everywhere we go, because this, what you're saying in one way refers to work-life balance. See, if your work is not life, why the hell are you doing it, I'm asking? Because just to earn a living? See, look at the fact of this. Tell me, do you spend more time with the people that you work with or with your family? People that you work with. So if you don't enjoy being with these people, only when you go home you're going to be happy, it's a miserable life, isn't it? It's very important that it's a joy to be with these people. You must create that atmosphere, it will not happen just like that. It will not happen. I was holding a construction meeting in United States, we're building a large spiritual city. So I was holding a construction meeting, but already a few people had come for appointments, they were waiting, this meeting went on and on. So in the construction meeting, we are doing so many things and we're designing a whole new city, and people are laughing in between, bursting out laughing, this, that. Then the people who were waiting, they were a bunch of doctors from Atlanta. When their turn to come in, they came in. Sadhguru, what was happening here before we came? I said, it was a construction meeting. If this is how construction meeting happens, that in the last 20 minutes, we heard at least 7 times people bursting out in laughter. If this is how construction meeting happens, I want to do construction. I'm saying it doesn't matter. Construction, what is there to laugh about? Hello? If you're joyful, there is something to laugh about everything, isn't it? Above all, you're there, a big joke, can't you laugh about that? Hello? So it's very important that you change the work atmosphere. If you want to create a wonderful Assam, if that's the commitment, in 4 years, please change the way. Why don't you sit together? Anyway, this Chintan Shivar is there. What kind of office atmosphere do you want? How do you want to greet each other? As a rule, I told you in the morning, if you're alive, you must smile. Hello? Hello? Yes. Just look at your watch, what is the time? Just look at your watch. See, this watch is ticking away. No, watch is not ticking away. This damn thing, how many times it go around is not the point. The point is our life is ticking away, isn't it? So every time you look at your watch, whatever the time, if you look at your watch, poke and see if you're still alive, one big smile, hello? Hello? You're still alive. Oh, what is this nonsense, why should I smile if I'm alive? Because Have you been to any funeral? You attended at least one funeral in your life. See that guy there like this, perfect position, like a bureaucrat. Don't be like that, okay? That's a dead bureaucrat. It's like this. You go and tell him in his ear, you know, I got $1 million for you. Not interested, that fellow? Hello? You tell him, let's go on a picnic to the most beautiful place. Not interested? You tell him, there's a most beautiful woman here, come. Not interested? You tell him, there's a heap of gold here. Not interested? You and me also will become like that. Hello? Hello? So, the perfect position that you hold when you enter the office, that you can do then. Now, the imperfection of laughter, smiles, let it happen, huh? Hello? Hello? Don't be the perfect man or woman like this. What is perfect about it? Only dead are perfect. Living are never perfect. There is always room for improvement, isn't it? Hello? Isn't that the most beautiful thing about life? There is always room for improvement. Dead people are perfect. That's why we worship them. So what in engineering? You must understand, engineering means, see, we say this hall is well engineered only if it fulfills the purpose for which it is built, isn't it? You say a machine or a car or something is well engineered when it works with least amount of friction. That's all for you also. You are well engineered when you can function here in this world with least amount of friction, both internally and externally, especially internally. Hello? Yes. That's all engineering means. I've said too many things, you're tired. If you… one question we can take if you… Yes, ma'am.
Hello. My namaste, Sadhguruji.
Namaskar.
Welcome to our state. Sir, I would like to pose one very pertinent question. Personally, I feel this alcohol and these drugs is a very dangerous thing, it's more dangerous than corona. And especially in the Northeast, it has taken a number of lives, leaving many women…
Corona has done one thing, instead of drinking alcohol, everybody is rubbing it on their hands.
Yes, sir, that is fine. Yes, sir. I do agree with this, sir. But especially in the Northeast, it has created havoc in the lives of many, many people. And those many boys I've seen with, from my own experiences, they're sent to the correctional institutes, but when they come back, they again go back to the same thing, sir. So how do we address these issues, sir? It's very pertinent in our society, especially, sir. Thank you, sir.
Unfortunately, this is worldwide. There are many aspects of it. I can just address the immediate problem in a certain way, but the larger aspect of it, if we don't understand, we are not really going to stem it in any sense. The thing is this, there are many ways to look at it. As I said in the very beginning, human beings are looking for pleasantness of experience. Hello? Yes. Now, if you don't teach them any sensible way of keeping themselves very pleasant within themselves, they will look for chemicals. For a long time, we have managed humanity with false promises that when you go to heaven, everything will be pleasant. Now I'm asking among you, how many of you believe you're going to heaven? Nobody? Nobody? All hell. So look at this. If 50 years ago, if you had asked this question, at least 50% of the people would have raised their hands. Now not a single person thinks he is going to heaven. So you must understand this is not a simple process. In human mind, across the world, in more than 60 to 70% of the human population, heavens have collapsed. Heavens have fallen apart. So the promise of going somewhere and everything will be perfect is gone. Highest levels of pleasure will be offered is gone. So what will human being do? He will try to look for it here. If you don't show him any pleasant, any sensible way of doing it, he will naturally choose chemicals. We have looked at this elaborately, it's out of that we are, launched this movement called Conscious Planet, because right now you are being compulsively driven. Compulsion is not drink, compulsion is not drug, compulsion is you want to have some sweet and profound experience, isn't it? Yes or no? The compulsiveness is not for the drink, compulsiveness is not for the drug, compulsiveness is not for anything that you think is negative. They also want the same thing that you think will happen with success or love or family or something else or meditation or God or whatever you believe in. The same thing they also want, isn't it? They are choosing this because there seem to be more tangible results. We have not given them an alternative, isn't it? So I was in, I was in London, then I asked there a group of elite people, I said, how many of you or how many people in London can go through an evening peacefully without even a glass of wine? I'm using glass of wine as the lowest dosage. There are many other things, okay? How many people can sit peacefully through one evening without a glass of wine? London people look like this, that and say, about 1%. 1% of the population, this is their guess, 1% can sit peacefully without drink. 99% cannot pass through one evening peacefully without a drink. This is where we have taken. Then after 4 days I was in New York City, there's a large group of people. I asked them the same question, how many do you think in New York City can sit peacefully through an evening without a drink or drug or something, because there's more drug than drink these days? They look at each other and look at me like I'm asking some impossible, strange question. What is he asking? How can anybody be peaceful without a drink or a drug? What is this? At least marijuana, Sadhguru? So this is where we have taken the world. 50 years ago, I'm saying, maybe I don't know, here also I'm sure it is true, in southern India, I'm saying 45, 50 years ago, when we were growing up, in our families, first thing if they have to marry a girl somewhere, first question is, do they drink? If they're drinking in that family, drinking does not mean they're drinking all the… they're not drunkards. If they're drinking in their family means our girl will not go to their family, that's the thing. Today if you don't serve a drink in your marriage, nobody will come to your wedding. Yes, it's gone there. So the increase in the consumption of alcohol must have gone up some, I don't know, 100… Yes, incredibly high. Well, because of various reasons, one important reason is this. One is imitating the West as they do it. If you don't have a bar in your house, you're little no good, You must have a display bar, even if it's empty bottles, at least you must have a display bar. When guests come, they must say, oh, you got a bar, so you are modern, you are advanced. Otherwise, you are no good. That is one problem. Another problem is, people don't know how else to be pleasant. Nobody taught them how to become meditative. Nobody taught them how to engineer myself to be always blissful. When you don't teach people anything, this collapse of the culture is happening. This is a culture where there were no big spiritual institutions, no organized system. In every family, there was a transmission of something. What the parents did, they taught to the children, and there was no institutional control. In every family there was some simple practice, one little mantra or one little focus or 5 minutes sitting somewhere. They had these processes which kept people in a certain way. That has collapsed with so-called modern education, which is essentially Western education. This has happened. So there is no point blaming here and there. The important thing is, we need to understand this. See, today if you want to grow food, you need chemicals. If you want to be healthful, you need chemicals. If you want to be peaceful, you need chemicals. If you want to be joyful, you need chemicals. My problem, as you are looking at it in a certain way, my problem is not a moral issue. I don't have a moral issue about anything. But if 90% of the human population starts consuming these chemicals, what will happen to us is, the next generation that you produce will be much less than you. Next generation should be always one step ahead of us. But if next generation is less than us, we have committed a crime against humanity. And that is not very far away. It can easily happen in the next 50 years. There is substantial studies, please look it up, to show that significant alcohol consumption and the genetic content in the next generation of people, how seriously it is affected. Essentially, their body, their brains and their neurological capabilities, everything is going down. You see this in the Western countries significantly. See, you go to any top-class, top-notch American university, the number of students who are doing really well are generally either Indian students or Chinese students or Jewish students. The American population is doing so badly because most of them, in the previous generation itself, their mothers and fathers have been heavy on drink and drugs and stuff. Today they have this problem of emotional volatility, that small things will throw them off. For small things they'll quit and go away. For small things they'll break their marriages. For small things they destroy their relationships. Because emotionally volatile. Other things will come. Today WHO is talking about mental health pandemic. And the next thing is they're talking about suicide pandemic. See, what a pandemic means is, in this room full of people, if 2 people have some problem, all of us will get it. This is a pandemic. Mental health pandemic, just imagine, a hall full of loonies will happen, or a hall full of people will commit suicide. In Japan, for example, in 2020, more people committed suicide than the number of people who died of coronavirus. So we don't really need the virus, I'm saying. We can do it ourselves. So humanity is moving in this direction. This country is still behind. I know, for you, it looks extreme, it does look extreme to me also, but still compared to Western nations, we're still a step behind. This is the time to become really alert. This is the time to bring powerful yogic processes, meditative processes into children's lives, so that they find a way that if they sit here, they're blissed out by themselves. They don't need anything from outside. This is important for every human being, whether a child or an adult. But if because your concern is about future generations, this must come into our lives, that we know if we sit here, we are blissful by our own nature. After that you do what you want. I'm not telling you do this, don't do this, eat this, don't drink this, no. Do what you want as long as it's not compulsive, that you're doing things by choice. Because being human means this, that we do the same things that all animals do. Please see this. We may think we are superior, no. We are doing the same things. We are born, they are also born like us. We grow up, they grow up. We eat, they eat. We sleep, they sleep. We reproduce, they reproduce. We die, they die. Only thing is, we can do everything consciously. That is what sets us apart. That's what makes us so different. Doing something unconsciously and compulsively, doing the same thing consciously is a world of difference. That difference people should learn to enjoy. People should… See, do you agree with me, this is the most complex and sophisticated chemical factory on the planet? then why are you not producing chemistry of blissfulness within you? This is what inner engineering means, that you become a chemistry of blissfulness. If right now you're completely blissed out, do you think of drinking alcohol or taking a drug? Hello? Will you? Only if you're feeling like this, you want something to pump you up. So this we must change. It's not one day's work, it's not an overnight commitment, it's a couple of generations. If we commit ourselves, we could turn this around. This is what the Conscious Planet movement is about, but fortunately it is touching people. Just to give you a perspective, right now our annual video, not the Save Soil thing, just the spiritual videos, annual video viewership has risen to 2.4 to 2.5 billion people watching this. Never before such a thing has happened. Never before young people, I'm saying I'm in Bangalore city, this Kaveri calling meeting, board meeting was going on, in between everybody took a bathroom break, I came out, I had some phone calls to attend. I'm walking in the garden and taking the phone call. 8, 10, 12-year-old boys and girls are there, they're going, calling, Sadhguru, Sadhguru. I said, come here. They come and say, you idiots, how do you know me? Oh, we're watching your videos. What, your mothers are forcing you to watch my videos? No, I only introduced you to my mother. I said, what? When I was 12, nobody could make me watch a damn spiritual video. But today, that's how it's happening. I must tell you, because yesterday was 40 years since I started teaching. 40 years ago when I started programs, 85% of the people came to the programs because of physical ailments. Only 10–12% people came, want to learn something, know something, experience something. Today, only 8 to 10% of the people come for physical ailments. Everybody is coming, looking for growth, looking for transformation. This is a massive change in the world. As you are seeing the negative, the positive also is growing. It's our business as a generation to empower. Negative, you can't kill it overnight. If you empower the positive, negative will recede. There's been no time in the history of this planet where there was no crime, no negative things happening. There's never been a time like that, isn't it? Only thing is, at certain times, more positive things were happening. So people call that as golden era. Let's make this the next 4 years the golden era for the state of Assam. Namaskaram. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the close of the open house discussion. We had some outstanding questions, remarkable for their deep insight, and it is to our good fortune that we had someone of Sadhguruji's standing to address those. Thank you, Sadhguruji, for enlightening us all with your wealth of profound wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, a while ago I mentioned about safe. We would now proceed to the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between Isha Outreach and the Government of Assam. The MOU will be signed by the Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, on behalf of the Government of Assam, and by Sadhguruji, representing the Isha Outreach. The broad areas of collaboration include food security and sustainable food system, sustainable farming systems, and arresting degradation of food-producing agricultural soil. I'd request both of them to ratify and exchange the documents after signing.
How many signatures? Oh. Last page only, right?
This is a red letter day towards the holistic development of Assam.
So, hello, yep, I have. So this is a policy document which was made for India. We prepared such documents for 192, unique documents for 192 nations, and this is the summary recommendation, 3 important aspects that can be done quickly by any given government. So we are working with Niti Aayog, it will come from the center, but I would like Assam to run away ahead of the central government.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So this is for your bureaucratic team who have to read big books. This is for you, sir. Yes, sir. 2 pages. You will know what it is.
Thank you. Before we call it a day, I would request So before we call it a day, I would request Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, to kindly felicitate our most respected Sadhguruji.
I thought you'll give me a rhinoceros or something.
Rhino, I'll get you see. You will see the live.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. This is the image of Adiyogi. We have a 112 feet, give it, it's okay. 112 feet tall Adiyogi in Coimbatore, which was unveiled by the Prime Minister, and this is an embodiment of human consciousness in many ways, because unfortunately today Adiyogi Shiva means just a calendar image for most people. What's been forgotten is nobody explored human consciousness and the mechanics of how it can be taken to its highest peak, as he did. 112 ways of how you can take a human being to their ultimate peak was explored by him, and that's why to honor him we made 112 feet tall Adiyogi. Hope someday he will come walk into Assam also, to Northeast. Thank you very much.
There's a painting Honorable Chief Minister would like to present.
Oh, sir, I've not come by truck, sir. I'm not driving a truck.
No, you'll drive a gypsy.
No, I'm saying, you're adding so many things, I'll need a truck.
No.
Thank you very much, and feel free anytime, in any way if you can contribute to making of this wonderful Assam. If you want, I don't know, you may have everything as a government, but there are consultants and people who are capable of doing this kind of things, tourism, agriculture and things, we could connect you, or our own teams are there, whatever we can.
Come and we'll…
Yes, sir, you must visit us. Thank you very much, all of you. Namaskar.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.